Hello everyone, I'm Adam Goodwin and I'm here with Elliot Lee.
Are you okay?
Yeah, not bad, thanks mate. And Luke McNulty.
Afternoon.
And so after the transfer window podcast Jack and the boys did earlier in the week, we're following that up with a deadline day edition. It was deadline day yesterday. A few very important deals went through. We're going to run through them, talk about how it might affect the rest of the league for the rest of the season, top four relegation. And so we're going to start off with probably the three biggest deals of the window, really. Aubameyang came into Arsenal from Dortmund. Giroud went to Chelsea from Arsenal. And Batshuayi went from Chelsea to Dortmund. It was a triple deal. Let's start with Aubameyang. Elliot, how are they all going to fit in? Aubameyang, Ozil, Lacazette, Mkhitaryan, Iwobi, Wilshere. Where are they going to go?
The squad, it's a bit. There's an overload of attacking players, and I feel the defence were Arsenal's weakest. I see Aubameyang going onto the right wing to start with, because that's where he first made his name with Dortmund. He replaced Blaszczykowski, who went to Wolfsburg at the time, and he really started to do well for himself. And only did he prove himself at right wing, did he then go to striker. And you can't spend 46 million, whatever it was, on Lacazette without playing him. I just think even in today's inflated market, it's nonsense to do something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Luke, what do you think on the deal for Aubameyang? Do you think he's going to be a success?
I think it's undoubted how good he actually is. You know, he scored goals at a prolific rate for Dortmund the last few years, and linking up with Mkhitaryan again as well, I think will help him. But in general, Arsene Wenger's made some good signings. You'd think on face value, he's made some great signings attacking wise over the last 10 years. But everyone knows their weaknesses are in defence and in the centre of midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really see how Aubameyang's going to elevate them to that next level, because attacking-wise, that's not been their problem.
Does it bode well, though, for Aubameyang that the last time him and Mkhitaryan played together, Mkhitaryan got the German Player of the Year award, ahead of any Bayern player?
I'm sure it would bode well.
It doesn't stop them conceding goals, does it?
True, you're right, yeah. But, I mean, Liverpool at the moment, if you attack, hopefully you have to remember your defence.
At some point. Do you think if the deal for Evans went through, do you think that would have helped them? Do you think he would have been a good addition to their squad?
I think he's a good addition because of his experience in the Premier League, and he's just a composed player. I also feel like he could have tutored Rob Holding quite well, because I do think he's a good defender.
Yeah, I like Rob Holding.
He's got all the talents that you need to be a good defender. He just needs the mentality, I believe.
And so Arsenal sold Giroud to Chelsea, which I was gobsmacked by, to be totally honest. I thought they're saying it's going to be around 18 million for that. I think that's an absolute bargain. I'm going to pose a question to both of you now. Between now and the end of the season, who do you think is going to get more goals, Giroud or Morata?
I personally think Morata, because he's still Chelsea's number one striker.
You think he still will be Chelsea's number striker?
I mean, Chelsea also were going after Ashley Barnes, Peter Crouch. They were going for a target man. They want a target man to be another option to Morata, because Morata's the first option. He has just come back from a short-term injury, but he's still their best player, well, best striker even. Because when he first joined, he was amazing. It's only in the past few months where he's just dribbled off, and he has been poor the past few games, being honest, hasn't he? And Giroud is a constant goal scorer, but I just don't believe he'll get the minutes that he needs to get those goals.
I'd have to agree with Elliot. I think Morata, like Elliot said, will be the number one option for the rest of the season, but he is serving a suspension at the moment, so if Giroud comes in, hits the ground running, then it could all change.
Yeah.
He scored a lot of goals at Chelsea as well, didn't he?
Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah. He scored a lot of goals. People kind of forget. He always went under the radar. He had this pressure that he wasn't the next Henry, but he scored a lot of goals, and 105 goals in 253 games. It's madness. He never really got the credit he deserved, so hopefully Chelsea can give him that.
Yeah, and Batshuayi obviously left Chelsea on loan to go to Dortmund. Why hasn't it really worked out for him at Chelsea? I know he hasn't really had a lot of game time, but he scored the goal that won him the league last year, which didn't really mean anything because they won it by a long way anyway. But why hasn't it worked out for him?
I don't know really. I'm not really sure. He's a good target man, but the thing is, at Marseille he was a good poacher, and the French league is a much more technical league than the English league is. and maybe he couldn't cope with the physicality of it. I'm not really sure. Hopefully at Dortmund he can fire his shooting boots again though.
And Luke, out of Dortmund, Arsenal and Chelsea, who do you think's got the best deal out of the three?
Arsenal. I think Chelsea have got a very good player in Giroud, but you wouldn't say that he is a key need for them right now. I know Morata's struggling, but they won the league last year. But just for the sheer brilliance of Aubameyang, that is a fantastic signing at 56 million.
Yeah. And moving on to Man City, they attempted to bring in Riyad Mahrez yesterday. That was a bit of a shock. I think due to this Leroy Sané injury, they wanted to get in another attacking player. The deal didn't go through in the end because they didn't meet Leicester's asking price, which was apparently 95 million, which for a player that's... I think Mahrez is a great player, but I don't think he's worth £95 million.
Well, he's scored more goals and more assists since he joined the Premier League than Philippe Coutinho. And Coutinho's gone for, 142 mil? So you could make a strong argument, but I can't believe he actually handed in a transfer request.
Yeah.
It was quite spontaneous, wasn't it?
I think he obviously wanted...
I think this has been bubbling under the surface for a while.
Yeah.
You know, he was close to joining Roma last summer. He feels that he's given Leicester everything they've wanted from him. He's won the league, he's won Player of the Year. So they've let Kante leave, they've let Drinkwater leave. Why not let him leave? That's probably how he feels about it.
And they're reaping the rewards, aren't they? Like Kante, he won the Premier League last season. Drinkwater's now going into Champions League football once more. Well, Leicester did really well in Champions League, didn't they? Yeah. And so he might adjust well to that kind of gaming style, I suggest.
With Mahrez, do you think he's going to be unsettled now? Do you think he's going to... Well, there's rumours that he might refuse to play for Leicester for the rest of the season. Do you think that will happen, or do you think he'll... Because I think when Coutinho wanted to leave for Barcelona in the summer, he then got back into the Liverpool team, played well, and then earned his move the next window. Do you think that will be the same with Mahrez, or do you think he'll be refusing to play, not training?
I don't know. I just feel that with the whole Coutinho situation, how he so nearly left in the summer, Klopp was a big part of him being mature and playing again. With Mahrez, I'm not sure he and Puel have that same relationship which Klopp and Coutinho did. And I can imagine, obviously I don't know him, like none of us know him, but just from the type of player you see on the pitch, you could imagine him to be the type of player that's quite spiteful. He would throw his toys out the pram if it doesn't go his way, which I hope it's not. I'd love to see him play in the Premier League again, but I'm not sure.
And Gary Lineker said this morning or last night that he thinks Mahrez is guaranteed to leave in the summer. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Where do you think he'll go to City?
I'm not sure City will go back in for him. I think City just wanted to make a signing, any signing at all. They lost Sanchez to United. I think they just wanted to throw a load of money at a club that they thought were willing to sell. They've stood firm. They'll probably go in for someone else in the summer, maybe Thomas Lemar, someone like that.
Do you reckon he can go abroad?
Mahrez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd suit the Spanish game very well. We've seen, haven't we? He lacks physicality. Yeah. And yeah, I think he'd do well in Spain.
I could see maybe if Griezmann goes to Barca, potentially.
That's what I was thinking.
To Atletico. We were talking about Giroud being a good bit of business earlier. I think potentially this could be a good buy for Spurs. Lucas Moura, 25 million from PSG. They need a winger. They obviously lost Nkudu. He had lots of potential. He was rumoured with a move to United when he was playing in Brazil, was it?
Yeah, he played for Sao Paulo, but then PSG signed him for 35, 40 million.
And he's still only 25. They got him for 25 million. Do you think that's a good bit of business?
Yeah, I do. I think he personally really suffered from the Neymar deal, because obviously Neymar took position out on the left wing, pushing Draxler and Di Maria along to the right wing, which was more his favoured position. But I think he's a good versatile player. I'm just not sure where he'd play, because Spurs like to play a 4-2-3-1. Yeah. And currently that's on fire at the moment with Son at the left side, either Eriksen or Ali. But to be honest, they can all switch along the three. They're all so versatile. I'm just not sure where he's going to fit, especially with Lamela coming back in. Yeah. And Lamela played last night, didn't he? So
I think currently Moura would be ahead of Lamela in the pecking order.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Lamela, they spent a lot of money on Lamela, but I mean, he hasn't really...
He's not hit the heights that he had at
no. I think he's another option, though. I think someone to bring on to make an impact in the game. Luke, what do you think of the transfer?
I think it's good to have that competitiveness within the squad. Sanchez has just signed for United, everyone instantly says, oh, where's he going to play? How is he going to fit in? You need these players to win trophies.
Yeah.
Everyone talked about Tottenham having a weak squad, a thin squad. They're bulking it up now.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move. And like Barkley to Chelsea, I think it's a low-risk, high-reward move as well. He's only 25. He was very good before he went to PSG. I'm sure he still is very good. He just hasn't had the chances to prove that.
Yeah.
And he injects the pace into side that they've not had for a while. Like, the only pace they really had was Kudu, but like you said, he's gone now.
Yeah.
And it literally could be one of those things where they're losing by 1 goal. It's 90th minute, long ball up to Harry Kane, who can nod it on past him. He can run onto the ball and behind the defence and score.
Yeah, I think that's a good point from you, Luke. Low risk,
High reward.
high reward. Yeah, that's it. So let's look at Liverpool now. They let a few players go out on loan yesterday. Ajaria went to Sunderland. Harry Wilson went to Hull. Forgotten man Lazar Markovic went to Anderlecht, and John Flanagan went to Bolton. Elliot, you're a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us your opinion on those loan moves, whether they'd be good for each of the clubs?
Well, with Ahari, you look at his. I'm a bit of a stats man, and you look at his stats; they're not quite impressive. But you watch him play, especially in pre-season. He's so comfortable and technically gifted with the ball. I just hope he can suit well in the Championship with Sunderland. Whereas Harry Wilson, he's been in the ranks for ages. He's been always one of those ones that's never quite reached the first team. But this season he's really kicked on. He's scored 10 goals and made 3 assists in 12 games in the Premier League 2 so far this season, as well as winning the Premier League 2 Player of the Month award for October. He's 20 now and was given his debut at only 16 years old under Chris Coleman. So hopefully he can kick on. But being honest, Lazar Markovic, I've seen him play a few times, and why on earth?
Another failed Liverpool signing, isn't it, really?
20 million it was spent on him. It was Brendan Rodgers that spent on him, and that was...
He's not done anything since he's been at the club,
even in today's market, he's barely worth £5 million.
£5.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a bit extreme, isn't it? I don't really rate it, but I hope all the best for him. And obviously, seeing him in the Premier League would be good again. He tried at Hull last season or the season before.
Played quite well.
Last season for Hull, yeah.
Didn't Marco Silva want to sign him for Watford in the summer because they got on quite well?
So he might have some potential in there, but from what I've seen, he hasn't got it. And Flanagan to Bolton, there's a lot of controversy around him at the minute. I think some time away from the club. To be honest with you, I can't see him having a future at the club. Yeah,
I agree. Like in the 13-14 season where we nearly won the league, which will go down in history for like ages until we win the league. He was a great defender. He played every game, but after the alleged assaults on his girlfriend in public, that's for me. He's got no time in my club after that, and it's a shame because I originally thought that he should be Liverpool's captain because of what he represents to Liverpool. However, now that doesn't seem like such a smart decision.
Yeah, probably not.
So the club said when it happened, didn't he? Oh, we're keeping him now because we feel like we have a duty to help him. But I think that's just an excuse, really. I think they're going to ship him off sooner rather than later, which I've not really got a problem with.
Newcastle did a good bit of business yesterday. They bought in Islam Slimani from Leicester on loan. They really need a striker. They've sort of been rotating between Joselu, Gale, Mitrovic this season. None of them really score many goals. So bringing him in, I think, is a good bit of business. What do you think about that, Luke?
Yeah, I do think it's a good signing, especially for Newcastle. That's been their key area of need up to this point in the season. It's strange, really, how it didn't work out for him at Leicester. When he first signed, people thought him and Vardy were a good balance.
Yeah,
and Shakespeare and now Puel seem to favour Okazaki. But yeah, I think at Newcastle he'll get the game time guaranteed. He's a more physical striker than Gale. More imposing. They're going to get balls into the box and he'll thrive off that.
Yeah, I think with Slimani, he's obviously a good player. He's shown glimpses of that at Leicester. I think it's just the wrong club for him. Do you agree, Elliot?
Yeah, I agree. Like Luke said, like when you pitch them together, like the traditional Premier League dream partnership is a tall target man and a little whippet who can get in behind, and that was perfect for them. But for some reason, it just didn't work. Hopefully, this could be different. Could be different though. Yeah, and I know Newcastle got Matt Ritchie, who can really whip a ball in well, which is what he needs. They actually used to call him the Dragon Slayer in Portugal because of how well he did against Porto, which is crazy. And he did score 27 goals in 33 games in his last season there, so he's clearly got the goals in him. He just needs to find them and just get in the good positions, doesn't he? He just doesn't finish them up.
I think with all strikers, if you give them minutes, they're going to come good at some point. And I think that's probably the big problem with Batshuayi at Chelsea. He's very raw. So he might not give you 20-plus goals a season now, but he didn't get many minutes anyway.
Yeah.
So Slimani at Newcastle is a great move, in my opinion.
And they let Mitrovic go. Do you think Slimani's a better option than Mitrovic up front?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the big problem with Mitrovic is he's got a massive disciplinary problem. 6 red cards out of his career for a striker at his age is unheard of. That's never really happened before. And I think he's not quite cut the mustard in the English game so far. In Anderlecht, I heard great things about him, and I was looking forward to seeing him, but he's just not.
He's gone to Fulham, and so hopefully he can prove himself in the Championship. Moving on to Swansea, the Ayew brothers have been reunited. Swansea have re-signed Andre Ayew from West Ham for 18 million. Thoughts?
Strange on West Ham's part. The games I've seen of West Ham this season, he seems to be one of their more lively players.
Yeah, lively is the word.
Him and Lanzini going forward, Arnautovic, they all look like a promising group, and they were going to drag them away from the relegation zone. But on Swansea's part, yeah, great move.
I reckon they could work really well. It's not the first time they played together. The last played at Marseille, and obviously their brothers, their father's Abedi Pele, the former African. I think he was voted the best African player of the 20th century, which is cool. So he's obviously got good lineage, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be Ayew and Ayew either side of Boney or Narsing? They've got some options now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really know the ins and outs of Swansea's tactical system, so I've not got a clue. I think the main reason they signed him is because his brother had a word, or he said something, or something like that. Because I'm not suggesting nepotism, but I think players know who they get on well with.
Yeah,
I think most Swansea fans will be happy that it's another player to take Wayne Routledge further down the pecking order. To be honest,
do you think he can keep them up then?
I think without the signing of Ayew, I think Carvajal's done wonders there.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
You know,
beating Liverpool, beating Arsenal.
Since he's taken over, I think they have the 3rd most points in the league.
It's 10 and 15, 10 out of possible 15, isn't it?
Adding Ayew to that is only going to help.
And they also brought in Andy King, who seems to have been at Leicester forever. He's finally left, only on loan. Are you surprised he left Leicester in the end?
I'm not surprised in the sense that he needs game time.
Yeah.
But I am surprised because I thought that he was quite content in the role that he was in.
Yeah.
You know, he'd come through all the leagues with Leicester. He's got his Premier League winners medal. But I appreciate his, attitude and the want to play at his, because he's approaching 30 now.
He is, yeah.
And he still wants to play. And a Premier League club has put their faith in him. And obviously moving to Wales, I think that'll be a nice little move for him.
He's been there 10 plus years, don't forget. And if you're with the club that long, you're going to grow an affinity towards it.
Yeah.
So moving away, it's clearly a strong personal decision by him. It's something that he wants to do, something he feels like he needs to do. So hopefully he can kick on and do well there.
And outgoings from Bournemouth, they were the only Premier League team not to buy anyone this January transfer window, but they let 2 players go yesterday, 2 strikers. Benica Fobi rejoined Wolves on loan, and Lewis Grabban joined Aston Villa on loan. Should they have let them go? It's left them with Defoe, Wilson and Mousse up front. They did have a lot of strikers. When you look at Fobi and Grabban, do you think they're better options than Defoe, Wilson and Mousse, or do you think they've been left with a good balance there?
I think it's always good to have options, but Afobe was always struggling for game time. When Wilson's fit, he's firing. Defoe's scored goals for many years. And I think the way Bournemouth play as well, they get a lot of contributions from elsewhere on the pitch. They've got Stanislas out wide, who chips in with goals. Fraser's a threat. Ibe comes off the bench sometimes. The centre mids even chip in with goals. Lewis Cook's doing well. So I don't think it's the end of the world, but Bournemouth aren't that far away from the relegation zone.
No.
So it could, in hindsight, look like a bad move.
What happened to Josh King? Where did he go?
He's still there, isn't
He's
he?
still there. I think he's had an injury, so he is another
Yeah.
option. I'm not sure when he's back, but yeah, I completely forgot about Josh King. But he was firing when he was playing.
Yeah, last season, the second half of the season, he was amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I just feel with Bournemouth, every single player is on the cusp in between Championship and Premier League. None of them are proper Premier League players.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how Eddie Howe has done and kept them up for 3 years now, and they're now they're
Third
10th
season,
technically, but only 8 points away from the relegation zone, isn't it? 'Cause it's so tight down there. It's
Talking
crazy.
of relegation, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Luke, you said you don't think Swansea are going to go down. I'm going to ask both of you this. Who do you think the 3 teams will be that go down?
I am going to go with Huddersfield.
Yep.
They remind me so much of Blackpool in 2011. Aren't afraid at all to attack.
Yeah.
But in the big games, you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah. The Liverpool game was quite damning, I think.
I think Wagner's got to be a bit more savvy, and at the moment it looks like he's a one-trick pony in terms of his approach. So I'd take
like
Huddersfield.
His mate Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I'd take Huddersfield to go down at the moment. Who else am I going to go for? I am on the spot here.
It is tight down there.
I think Stoke's got to be in contention. Although they've done well in the past few seasons, they've let go a few key players and they've not quite retained the same quality. So I'm not sure as to whether or not they'll survive. But it's so tight
I
this
think
year,
Southampton could be in trouble.
Yeah.
I think they've spent 19 million on Carrillo from Monaco. He hasn't.
He was extremely inconsistent when he at Monaco. But it's so tight. Literally every single player.
Replaced Van Dijk.
Pardon?
They haven't properly replaced Van Dijk either. They only drew to Brighton at home last night, which should have been a win. They should have won that, really.
Yeah.
So I think they're in trouble. So let's go back to transfers. The best and the worst. We'll go. Which teams do you think have had the best and the worst windows? Elliot, do you want to start off?
The best for me has to be Arsenal, because I think they've been really mature and made life gave them lemons, so they made lemonade. They made the best out of a bad situation. They went into January losing contracts of Sanchez and Ozil, and coming out, they've managed to also let go Walcott, sign Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang,
and
they've
Ozil
kept
tied
Ozil, which is it's amazing. Essentially, what they've done is replaced Walcott with Aubameyang, which is an amazing replacement. There's no disrespect to Walcott.
Got 2 goals last night for Everton,
exactly,
didn't he?
Yeah. I just think Aubameyang will kick Arsenal onto the next level. In terms of the worst, I would have to say Bournemouth, because I'm not sure they quite have the player firepower to get through, but I've said that the past 2 years now, and they've still managed to linger about.
Luke?
Manchester City, I think, they're 15 points clear at the top of the league, and they're not resting on their laurels. They've gone out and bought a defender. If you were going to point out a weakness for City, it would be defence, and they've improved that with Laporte. So I think, although it's one signing, they don't need many more, do they? And I'd agree with Elliot with Bournemouth. I think you've got to strengthen as much as you can when you can, and Stoke as well. They're floundering. Paul Lambert's not an inspired appointment, and I think they're right in the thick of it, Stoke, to go down.
I think if anyone cares about my opinion, I think Swansea. I like their business. I like IU.
Yeah.
I think King, the experience. I think Carvajal might keep them up.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that rounds off the podcast for today then. If you want more Parklife sport information and updates, you can follow us on Twitter at Parklife_sport, on Snapchat at Parklife_sport, and on Instagram at ParkLifeSport. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure there'll be another podcast very soon.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.